see if I can put this on there straight.
So, evening, boys. First Koptalk of the new season. Well, we're in pre-season, but it's been a while. Lots has happened since we last spoke. Some legends have left. Some legends look like they're leaving. Yeah, I mean, for me, I'll miss Firmino. I'll miss like his silky skills. I'll miss Milner's dependability. But the time was right for them to go. You know, I don't blame them for going, and I don't blame the club for letting them go. I think Keita, Chamberlain, we've been saying for the last 2 years that they should have gone for a while. So Fabinho and Henderson, that was a bit of a surprise. But again, I don't blame the club for letting either of them go. I think it's not a bad shout. We've been talking on this channel for ages saying we wanted a refresh in that midfield, and this is what they're doing. So I like the signings. I mean, we'll talk about that as well. And yeah, I'm excited for the season. I really am. I think it's going to be a good season. Well, I always say that. I know I'm optimistic, but I'm looking forward to it. Karim, what do you think?
I think, yeah, sad times letting go a couple of legends that have given so much to the club. Firmino, Milner. Even Ox, before he got injured for Roma against Roma, he put in a good shift as well. Keita, I don't think he ever settled, or injury. He's always injured. Didn't really get a regular run. Yeah, he did some good things that one season when we won the Premier League, but apart from that, it's good. Au revoir. Henderson. Fabinho, it looks like they're on their way out. But it's just I feel like we need to start getting more through the door. While it's pre-season, get them settled. I feel like we're going to still be a little light in the midfield defence, but not being in the Champions League, probably focusing on the Premier League a lot more. We might have a good enough squad to cope in that one, just go, like try our luck with a League Cup and the FA Cup, but put mainly our eggs into the Premier League, I
think they're going to go for the Europa League as well. They're not going to try they're going to try and win that.
Yeah, they're probably going to try go for that as well. I feel like it's top four, finishing top four would be priority next season, just to get back to having better competition, in Europe and playing with the elite teams.
I'm hoping we challenge, though, as well. I don't want to be just top four.
So much competition this season. I feel like Arsenal, Chelsea, Newcastle. I just feel like we're just going to be, if we just start the league as it is with 2 new signings, feel like we'll be a little bit light. That's me.
Yes.
Yeah, hi guys. I think it's a little bit of a strange time. I mean, in typical Liverpool fashion, we seem to be doing things our own way again. Last season, we signed no midfielders, and this season, okay, we brought in a couple. I think McAllister will be a ready-made player, and I like the other fella too. I'm not sure how long or if he takes time to settle. But I mean, obviously this Saudi Arabian thing is causing havoc. But we've had a big exodus, and it's not just about on the pitch; it's off the pitch as well. And I find that Milner has gone, like you said. Henderson and Fabinho look like they're very likely to go. So they're the confirmed. I mean, the Ox and Keita, not talking about football now, talking about the influence and the Liverpool mantra that they, pass on to the younger players or the newer players. We've lost all of that now, in my opinion. In the middle of we've lost a lot of it. I mean, Henderson, club captain, Milner, they were the kind of players that took no shit from no one. You know, they had that Gerrard thing about them where, everything was serious. There was no pissing about or not putting it all in. You know, Fabinho, talks of Thiago going, another one who's got so much experience, and you can bring in any player you want, as far as I'm concerned, for as much money as you want. That doesn't guarantee you nothing. So it's a bit of a. I mean, listen, for me personally, if someone said to me, would you want, McAllister and Shazaz, about whatever he's called?
Szoboszlai.
I would have taken them. Szoboszlai and McAllister. But I wouldn't have said I'll take them and have Fabinho, Henderson, Milner, and perhaps Thiago going at the same time. It's a problem, the experience, the winning mentality, the Premier League, Champions League. We're talking about a lot of experience leaving that team now. A lot of experience. Okay, you could talk about Gakpo, Nunes. I mean, Salah, Van Dijk, Trent, Alisson, Robertson. I mean, you step away from those 4 or 5 regulars, starters in that team. You're left with a lot of novices. Diaz, Nunes, Gakpo, McAllister. Good player. He's won the World Cup, the guy. But that's playing with Messi and other players. Domestically, in whatever league he's played. So Szoboszlai, it's a very, very strange time, a very, very strange time. And, Karim mentioned other teams. I mean, listen, it's going to be strange for a lot of teams. I mean, Man City have lost Gundogan, who was as influential and integral to their team as Fabinho and Henderson were to us, Mahrez, another one. I worry for a lot of these teams. I mean, I worry for these teams. I think it's going to be a strange season. Arsenal think that they're going to, build on what they had last year. They may or may not. I think Man United might be best placed with the squad that they've got and the players that they've got. But going back to us, it's a problem. Lavia, Southampton. I mean, there's lots and lots of talk about this guy. If you said to me last season, do you want this player from Southampton? I'm not so sure I would have taken him. There's no reasons. We're not we're not winning a race to sign him, are we, really? Casado seems to be staying at Brighton at the minute. Chelsea, by all accounts, can't sign him because they can't get out of the financial fair play riddle that they're in. I don't know. I mean, it's a very, very... you could talk about Fabinho, who had a dreadful season last season, in my opinion, his worst. Henderson was a bit part player anyway last season. But as I said, it's not about the pitch. It's about the dressing room and the way Henderson and Milner and others, delivered Klopp's messages to the changing rooms, and that's going to be a big miss.
I agree, but I think it's time for a new voice now. I think it's time for new leaders to emerge. And I think you're going to see, Trent becoming a big part of that sort of management team within the team. The South was Henderson, Milner, Robertson, Van Dijk. I think Trent will be part of that now. I think Van Dijk will probably be the captain, with maybe Trent or Robertson as vice.
I agree with Van Dijk being the captain, but Van Dijk is a very blasé player, whether you like it or not, whether he's playing for Holland, Liverpool, Celtic or Southampton. He plays in a certain way, okay? And the people that we're talking about, the people that we've just spoke about, have got this iron mentality where nothing phases them and they don't let off 1%. Henderson, Milner, Gerrard, those players, their mentality was non-stop for the whole game. Van Dijk worries me to be someone, you're talking about this player. Yeah, he's, He's got that stature about him, but he hasn't got this part of him. This part of him lacks.
Well, maybe the captaincy will make him. You know, I know he's captain of Holland, but maybe being captain of Liverpool as well, and the extra kind of spotlight that brings you will make him. Maybe they might give it to Trent, and like they did with Gerrard, make him a captain at a young age, a scouser, who it will elevate his game maybe, like it did Gerrard's. So, you know, Gerrard was a quiet player when he came into the Liverpool team. And he didn't shout and scream at play. He led by example, playing outstanding football. So, listen, I think the time was right for a change. You know, I think we've been moaning that Klopp was too loyal to these players. Now he's being ruthless. He's letting them go. He's saying, "Go. You want to go? Go." And I think it's the right thing. It's the right time, and I'm optimistic.
No, I don't. You say it's the right time.
It is.
In no team would you. I mean, listen. A lot of it's not through choice. Fabinho going for 40 million, and Henderson going for 13. And listen, you can't argue. I mean, the money's there. If someone said to you, "Look, you're going to triple your wages," or blah blah blah. Yeah, they earn loads of money, but you know, they're accustomed to a certain lifestyle where they spend loads of money. So, you know, they look at things differently to what
it's like a generational move for them, isn't it?
However,
you're right for generations.
However, I don't at all agree with that, because yes, you want to make a little bit of a change, etc. But to rip it apart. I mean, we've ripped out the heart of that team over the last 2 or 3 seasons. Mane, Wijnaldum, Firmino, and this not that. This time, though, it's not about the quality; it's about the quantity. We're losing far too many players, far too quickly, and it's very, very worrying for me. Anyway, I think it's all.
I feel like Henderson still could play a part. It's not like he was injured most of the season. Like, you know, if it was like a player that's only played like, let's say 15 to 20% of the games, then yeah, I'll say, you know, let him go. But I just feel like Yaz said, the experience with Henderson, what they bring in the change rooms, what they bring to bringing new players settling into the area and stuff like that. That's what we probably need, and it's too much to let go all at one time.
Too soon, yeah. I mean, what happened with Gerrard? Gerrard was there. They brought in Henderson, and they earmarked Henderson to be the new Gerrard. Okay,
they almost sold Henderson at one point. Remember?
Regardless,
Fulham.
But what I'm saying is that he became not. It's not always about the football, because there's other players around him that can do the football thing. But he became the new leader of that club, and he learned to become the new leader from Gerrard. I'm a bit concerned that no one's learned from Henderson, because no one expected him to leave. Milner was his number 2, if you like.
Yeah.
He's in command. They both gone.
Yeah.
Now,
you know what it is?
I think what we've got to do is we've got to look at it. I mean, yes, Henderson was a guy, came from the northeast, embraced Liverpool, embraced the city, embraced the culture there, did so much off the pitch, was a leader amongst, you know, footballers in the UK with how the stand on. I mean, he's getting a lot of stick from the LGBTQ plus community because he's going to Saudi Arabia. But listen, me personally, and I've heard some Liverpool fans slating him. I don't slate him. That guy did everything for Liverpool. I mean, we paid 16 million for him at 21.
Yeah.
And he's going at 33, having won everything for 12 million or 13 million.
Like
so
you said,
he doesn't owe Liverpool anything. He's going to be a legend for the club forever. One of the most successful, the most successful Premier League era captain we've ever had. And yeah, so for me, I wish him well. I really do, and I thank him. I know you didn't say you didn't wish him well. I know your concern is the leadership element that we're losing. But let's remember one thing. We've not finished buying players yet.
Doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. That's irrelevant.
I feel that they're going to bring in some experience as well.
Well, I mean, I think that we're going to bring in this Lavia bloke from Southampton. And
We might
Lavia,
bring him, but there'll be some others. There'll be some others.
Listen, when you're talking about elitism at top of the top of the game, 1% drop off will be, and we had a little bit of a drop off last season, and look what happened.
20% drop off last season.
We've ended up out of the Champions League just by dropping off. Okay, so I hear what you're saying, and
it's Premier League experience.
We're going to bring players in. There's no doubt about it. The problem I have is we're not even talking about just the midfield here, by the way. In a minute, we'll get onto the forward line where we've still got a Gakpo that kind of settled in quite quickly last year, and I liked him. We've got Diaz that hasn't settled in at all yet, in my opinion. Whether he does this season or not, we will wait and see. We've got Nunes that hasn't settled in at all. We've got Szoboszlai who has just turned up. We've got McAllister. All of a sudden we've got 5 or 6 or 7 players that may start a game of football that aren't part of the Liverpool ethos yet. B, aren't playing to where they should be playing at. So it could, it's a gamble, and it could pay off, or it could go dreadfully wrong.
I think you are being a little harsh on Nunes. I mean, I know last season he could have scored a lot more goals. But I think this season you're going to see him score some goals.
I think you're deluded. I mean, you're talking about me being harsh. No. We spoke. No, you're being stupid. I'm telling you what I saw. I know, but you're telling me I'm being harsh. I'm telling you what I saw. They had a friendly last week. He's one-on-one with the keeper. He's one-on-one with the keeper, and he's got no goal-scoring instinct about him at all. He wants to square the ball to Salah. In the end, they kind of got a lucky ricochet off a defender. Salah gave it back to him, and he scored. A hungry centre-forward doesn't give that ball away to Salah. A hungry centre-forward is going to try and score. So those are genuine concerns.
I think you're not looking at the dynamics of the team, though. Salah is the superstar of the team.
It doesn't matter.
No, it matters.
It doesn't matter. It does not matter. Haaland walked into Manchester City and scoring goals for fun. If you're going to walk into a team, you have to take responsibility. Yeah. You can't be telling me about respect. They're not lords and duchesses and dukes and bloody, you know what I mean? They're football players. You go
There's
there.
Only one duchess, mate. We know who the duchess is.
You go there, you've got a job to do, and it's to score goals. Haaland went to Man City, and he won't pass fucking no one. De Bruyne, Gundogan, this one. No. He's got to take responsibility.
Yeah, but Matt, you're talking about the way the team sets up differently, Man City, to how we set up. We play with 3-4. He was the forward. They passed to him. That was the setup for Man City.
Yeah, and the strange thing is he was going to be our forward, and because he's so shit at it, he's been playing on the left. He's been playing on the right.
I think he played on the left because of the injuries to the other players.
And if he was a standout
for Diaz, isn't it?
Player, if he was a standout 9, he wouldn't move him for love nor money.
Well, yeah, like he's raw, whatever. Look,
anyway, I've seen enough. Yeah, I'm telling you now, on the 23rd of July, I've seen enough. Okay, you've got rose-tinted spectacles. You see things very differently from me. I see things very clearly. Telling you on the 23rd of July, the man's a flop. Take it as you please. He might score 15 goals, but in a team
he's going to score at least 30 this season.
What? Against two?
In all competitions,
Port Vale in the Carabao Cup. Against Port Vale in the Carabao Cup.
Okay, well, look, you reckon he's a flop. I'm telling you, I think he's going to score 30 goals.
Jason, you've never thought any Liverpool player's a flop. You thought bloody Igor Biscan was not a flop.
No, I never said that, mate. I never got that.
Don't be talking to me about, flop or Bruno's favourite.
Don't misrepresent that. I never said that about Biscan.
Jason said to me, Jason rang me one day.
Was Frankenstein's son.
Jason rang me one day and said, "Oh my God, we've signed this player, mate. He is brilliant." And we watched the YouTube video of him, his best bits.
Who's that? True.
Alberto Aquilani.
Yeah, he was good.
I mean, you've got some track record, my friend.
Yeah. Listen, I'm sorry, I'm a fan of Liverpool, and I get excited when we sign a player.
Well,
and I want to give him a chance. But
it's
when Aquilani, hold on, when Aquilani went, I didn't say anything. I don't care. He wasn't good enough in the end.
Yeah.
But
I feel like some players didn't get a fair run.
Judging him a bit quickly. Diaz was injured for the whole of last season, so I think let's see what happens this season. And then at the end of this season,
I'm happy to see, and I'll be happy to be proved wrong. I watched
a player you've forgotten to mention that we have, who looked very sharp in that game, is Jota.
No, Jota. I would play Jota but this is what I'm saying. I mean, I had a chat with someone about that, and he's the most natural goal scorer in that side.
Yeah,
direct, quick, and gets it done. I can't see Nunes even starting in that team.
He probably won't. He probably have to work
because
his way into
he's
that side.
not. I watched him play against Liverpool at Anfield when he was at Benfica, and he was an out-and-out nine, and he caused havoc, by the way, that day.
But Liverpool never played him like that. Liverpool played him in a different position.
I know that. But what I'm saying is his movement. I remember that night against Benfica. I think he scored 2 or 3 goals and they were all offside. And at Liverpool last season, he was offside at every other move that we kind of put together. So, listen, I'm happy to be proved wrong. I don't dislike the guy. He looks very raw. He looks passionate, etc. I'll be more than happy for him to prove me wrong. But I think for me, his goose is cooked. I can't see any.
All right. Well, I think he's going to be all right. I think he's going to do well this season. I think Diaz is going to do well. The only issue I got with Diaz, I'm just seeing. I saw the game. I know it's only pre-season. He looks like he wants to do too much on the ball.
I just see that as well. Yeah,
he beat the player. It's almost a bit like
and he had to beat him again.
I remember with Lallana. Lallana used to frustrate me because he's so technically brilliant that he beat the player. The player's beaten, but he'll go back and say, "Come on, I'm going to do this again." Do you know what I mean? It was almost like he has to beat the player 2 or 3 times, and I'm just hoping that he can stick to just being a threat because he's direct, he's quick, he's technical, and he can shoot. So he needs to just focus on that and stop messing around with the, trying to do all the party tricks when we haven't won the game. So yeah, I'm hoping Diaz can. I hope they work on that with him. But our forward line's good. I think we need a defender. I think we need another defender because Matip's all right.
Gomez out.
I'm not too
Gomez.
sure.
Gomez the other day.
To go.
We were playing that friendly the other day, and I watched it, and he did exactly what he does in the Premier League. He was against a second division German side, got caught in possession around the halfway line. The bloke's nicked the ball off him. He's off on a run, and he's chasing him. I mean, these are the players that we should have got rid of. You know what I mean? Him.
Yeah.
Matip's okay. I think Konate's excellent, but he's injury prone.
We need another good defender, and I would say if we get 2 more midfielders and 1 more defender, and then I think the team is set. I think the team is set.
Listen, if Thiago goes, I think you almost definitely need 2 midfielders. If Thiago stays, it's a tough one because
they're not just going to sign Lavia. They're not. They're going to sign.
Yeah, but it's a tough one because you know what? The back end of last season and this European Under-21 Championships, Curtis Jones was fantastic. Bajcetic last season before he got injured was fantastic. We've then got to think about whether or not there's going to be a different system because we've spent the last few minutes talking about Salah, Jota. Those 2 players for me should start every game anyway. Diaz would probably start. Okay, that doesn't offer a place at the moment for Gakpo. Now, for me, Gakpo has to play. because he looks to me to be the new Firmino. He looks like the glue between midfield and attack.
So do you guys think like Alexander-Arnold, he's going to be pushed back to right back then, or is he going to?
Yeah, there's another. There we go. I mean, we haven't even touched on that. I mean, he probably plays in midfield. I mean, who was the kid that played at right back the other day in the friendly?
Connor Bradley.
Connor Bradley had a very good game, and then he's had a good game, and then they still started. I wonder if he's going to be the new right back. I mean,
you know, who looked good was that Bobby Clark. That Bobby Clark looked all right.
You've got to back. I mean, Liverpool being Liverpool, we're not Man City, we're not Man United. Liverpool being Liverpool, and Klopp being the manager that he is, he backs these players. So your Bajcetic, we're talking about all these midfield. How many are you going to go and buy? I mean, why would I want to go and spend £45 million on Lavia when I've got Harvey Elliott's another one we haven't mentioned, who's going to be another year older. Harvey Elliott, Curtis Jones, and Bajcetic. Now, if I'm the Liverpool board and I'm saying, right, do I spend 45 million or however much it is on Lavia, or do I make one good player out of Elliott, Jones, or Bajcetic? I mean, they can't, we're not that kind of a team. I mean, we should get another one in. I'm almost certain we will get another one in.
Yeah.
But we've also got players there that, we shouldn't really.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to sign those players you're talking about. Bajcetic, Elliott.
Bajcetic's only had half a season. The one that might be ready to kick on this season because he's been there long enough now is Curtis Jones. Bajcetic is still a young boy, although last season, the games that he played and I watched it, I was like, wow, he's the best thing I've seen in our midfield. Legs, power, fantastic. But Curtis Jones, but that Curtis Jones might be that player this season, and they might hold out till January and think, you know what, we'll have a little look at it, because you've got options with Gakpo who can drop a bit deeper and play in midfield.
But we need, if you let Fabinho and Henderson go, we need that player that will sit with a disciplined midfielder. One that, because Curtis Jones is not that player, Elliott's not that player.
No, absolutely. If we're going to buy one of those players, I think I'd love to get the Fulham guy, Paulinho, whatever he's called.
Paulinho, yeah. He talks about the Crystal Palace guy as well.
I've watched Paulinho, whatever he's called, last season a few times.
Fulham.
Yeah, he gets a yellow card every game, like Fabinho did.
Yeah.
But he is an exceptional player. If I had to buy one, like you said, we've got the McAllister who does a bit of something different. We've got Szoboszlai, Trent that probably will play midfield or in that kind of position. Because we've got to be sensible now. I mean, last season we kind of threw it all in and thought, to hell with it. Whatever happens, happens with Trent. Now, if you're going to let him, we're not going to play this false right back at the beginning of the season and drop silly points for no reason. I think we should be playing the right back. I think he probably actually will start as a right back, because if you start messing around with things like that, going all out, and you make mistakes, you're going to concede goals, you're going to drop points. So you either play a right back at right back or play him in midfield and play someone else there. But you're right. We do need a holder, a Fabinho.
They're talking about, I've seen there's, so that Paulinho was mentioned. There's another one that's being mentioned, that Verratti from PSG.
Real Madrid as well.
And the Valverde from...
I don't believe those kind of players. Those kind of players. Listen, there's good enough players up here that, Verratti and this one, they're going to be big names, going to come for a lot of money. They're going to want huge wages. And you don't even know what they're going to play like in the Premier League. Whereas,
but what I like as well. You said you like Paulinho. I think the one I've heard we've been linked with that I think will be interesting is that Kimmich from Bayern Munich. He's a proper player, mate. 27, 28, very experienced, won everything. That's the kind of player we need to bring in, because he would bring that winning mentality, that leadership. For me, I think that's the player they should go for.
I feel like the Real Madrid. Was it Tetromani? Was it?
Valverde, his name is.
No, the other one who we were linked with last season.
Tuchemani.
Tuchemani, yeah. Because Bellingham's there now. I don't think he probably won't get no game time. That's why they're
he's talking about going to Bayern Munich. That Tuchemani.
Yeah, if we can get in there before then, I feel like he'd be a good signing.
I don't think him. I think that Kimmich would be a good. I think we've got enough young players, like we just mentioned, Bajcetic, Elliott, Curtis Jones, that younger. I mean, Curtis Jones was 22, 23, but Bajcetic 19, Elliott 19. So we've got the youngsters. I agree with you, Yaz. Lavia 19. He's 19, 50 million. He's only played 10 more games in the Premier League than Bajcetic. Why are we paying 50 million for this guy?
Exactly.
So for me, if you get him cheaper, then maybe, but I would focus on getting a top quality midfielder like Paulino, like Kimmich, one of these proven top elite level midfielders. That's what we need in there. And then that plus a defender, a good defender, and then I think we're set. I think we're ready. I think we got enough. I think we've got everything.
I wouldn't go for them, Kimmich or Verratti. I feel like their hunger's gone. When I see them, they just they play with, you sit on the ball with they play with class, but that drive, we need a bit more drive, a bit more dynamic in the midfield, just to skip past the player. As soon as
that's what he does. McAllister, those guys do that.
No, we need a holder. We need someone that's going to sit and do that breaking down. That Paulinho at Fulham, like I said, I really like him. And we don't need. The highlights
of Lavia were pretty good. I mean, he showed.
Yeah, I can do. I've got good highlights if I edit them enough. No, and we've got to get a move on as well. I mean, this Fabinho Henderson thing has dragged on.
Yeah, I think it's this week they'll go.
Yeah, they've got to go. I don't give a fuck about them going. I want to get the new man in and get ready because the season starts in, our first game will be 3 weeks' time. Today. 3 weeks isn't a long time. Yeah, 3 weeks today. 3 weeks is not a long time. I'll probably think I am of the opinion we'll probably. I mean, we'll have a lot of games as well, and where there's a few injury-prone players there as well. So I still think, although I don't want it to happen, I still think somehow we're going to end up with that Southampton player and one other. I don't know if they'll get Paulinho, but they shouldn't get both of those. But we'll see. I still think we'll get two in though. And Thiago sounds like he might be on his way as well. And if he goes,
but I think Liverpool will try and tell him to stay and then go on a free next year.
I don't think he's about the money. I mean, he's got loads of money. What does that matter? He's going to be 32, 33 next year. How much money is he going to get as a free transfer at that age? It's not about that now. I mean, we're probably better off taking some money from him now, to be honest.
Well, he turned down Saudi Arabia, didn't he?
Yeah, but that's an optional thing, isn't it? I mean, Saudi Arabia is a bit of a taboo subject. It's a lot of money. But, you've got to understand that, they come from a certain country. They have certain, languages. They want their kids to go to their own schools. It's a big thing when you've got a family to up sticks and go and live in a compound in Saudi Arabia. It's not, all about money. Some people think, I'm having it. 2 years, get myself X amount and come out of there again. But some people think, it's a life choice. And, Firmino left Liverpool, right? And I'm thinking he's going to Spain or somewhere like, Spain. I had, that's where I expected him to go. I didn't think he was going to stay in the Premier League.
Also Barcelona,
I respected him for that. And the fact that he's fucked off and he's gone to Saudi Arabia, I think a little bit less of him now. I think, do you know what? You've left Liverpool to go. I mean, I watched some of those videos when they, meet fans. I mean, it's cringeworthy, some of it. I mean, they just try and make it look like it's something really popular, and the fans are hugging them, and there's no security. And you can see Firmino's face; he was a little bit uncomfortable with some of that because, it wasn't how he's ever had it before. So they're trying to sell it, but as I said, Firmino, great servant. He's going to go to Spain. He's a Latino. He wants, and then he's fucked off to go to Saudi Arabia. So I have, I'm thinking, do you know what, mate?
Well, for me,
I've lost a bit of respect for you.
No, I don't lose respect for him for that. Listen, the money he's going to get from that, he's come from a very poor background, very poor. I saw the documentaries on him. He had nothing. And the money he's going to make is generational. So it's not just his kids, but it's his kids are going to be fine. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
yeah, I understand now.
He's setting up his family for generations to come. So I think that's what drove his decision. I think he's won everything in the game that he could win. So now it's just success with Brazil, maybe, if he can get in Brazil's team. He won the Copa America with Brazil. So I don't know. I don't blame these guys for choosing that.
Henderson, it's a hard one.
Henderson at the end of his career, a payday, worked with Steven Gerrard, his mentor. Listen,
you'd be hard pressed to say no at the end of the day. Yeah. I mean, they go out there for a couple of years or whatever. It's all well and good, media, social media, depicting it to be this dreadful place where women can't do this and men can't do that, and we don't know that. We don't, we're not, privy to that. We only say whatever we hear.
Yeah.
But you look at the people that have gone out there, and Ronaldo's, etc. Maybe they're going to try and become a little bit more westernized, or who knows? But at the end of the day,
but it's a huge change to Liverpool this season. Huge. It's going to be a
it's a generation. It's a generational change at Liverpool. You talk about generational changes. Yeah. It's the changing of the guard here at Liverpool, and it can go one of two ways. I remember back in the day. I remember 2 times when this kind of thing happened. One time led to immediate success. Anyone?
Dalglish.
John Barnes, Peter Beardsley, John Aldridge, Steve McMahon, all these players, Paul Walsh, etc. Paul Walsh was before, and they came in, and we became
Craig Johnston.
Yeah, we just became this amazing. No, Craig Johnson was before as well. We're talking like when he signed Barnes, Beardsley, Aldridge.
Yeah, that's when they sold Rush to Juventus, isn't it?
And we just became this. And then I remember the day when, Graham Souness went to Liverpool, Mark Walters replacing John Barnes, and Igor Kozmak, whatever he was called, and Paul Stewart and Nigel Clough and Mike Marsh. All these players, and it was dreadful. They are 2 eras of Liverpool that I remember. And when John Barnes went to Liverpool, and that busy, I still believe till this day that's the best football I've ever seen Liverpool play. It was total football. It was the best I've ever seen, and that worked. And then Souness went in there, and there's more players. There's Mark Walters was the new John Barnes apparently, and I was like, this bloke, he was awful. Paul Stewart. Dean Saunders was the new John Aldridge. Dean Saunders. Man. We had some tough times there. So it's a very it's exciting time. Of course it is. Difference is we've got a world-class manager there.
Yeah.
Who also made a lot of mistakes.
Klopp is a safer pair of hands than Souness.
No, I disagree with you, because Klopp made a lot of mistakes last year. I think if Klopp's learned from his mistakes last year, he should be salivating this season. He must be very, very eager to right last season's wrongs, because last season wasn't wrong. It was fucking on a different scale. It was just off the charts wrong.
Well, that's what he said.
I feel like he was a bit unlucky though. He had a lot of injuries at the wrong time as well. And literally our forward line went straight away as soon as the season started, and we had Nunes and Salah. Jota got injured. And then Diaz got injured. Then Henderson got injured. I think there was a period where Van Dijk was out as well. You know, so it's just like it happens in a season. It's not gonna always be like glory.
No,
glory.
it does happen, but he also made mistakes. There's no two ways about it.
Yeah, he made mistakes not buying a midfielder. That was a big mistake last season. You know,
well, that's the way it's well.
Gomez a contract.
He went for that Tuameni, didn't get him, and then in the end brought that Arthur
No
Melo,
plan B. Yeah.
and that was a mistake.
Arthur Miller, look, he didn't even play, did he? How many games? 2 games?
Played
3?
30 minutes.
30 minutes.
Yaz will tell you that I said he was going to be a superstar for us.
He didn't play 30 minutes. He didn't play 30 minutes.
I think he did. He played.
No, he never played in one game at all.
Didn't he? I'm sure he played.
No, never played. Never kicked the ball for us.
I think in a League Cup game, innit? I think he played for a few minutes. And
he did play. He played one. He came on as a substitute, I think, in a game.
But this is it. You've got to learn from your mistakes, and we're not buying these players pretty earlier on to cover United having a plan B, a good plan. It just looks like all the best players are just like getting brought early part of the season, and then we're going to be left with like a loney again, you know. And that's what we don't want.
Liverpool career lasted 13 minutes.
13.
He played 13 minutes.
He got injured then, yeah, during the game. Was it the last 13 minutes of a game?
I don't know what game he played in.
I do remember him playing the game, but I think
Napoli in the Champions League.
Yeah.
And that's when we got tonked as well, wasn't it? That was that first game.
Yeah,
in September.
4-1.
Yeah, well, that's a good memory you had to have of him.
Yeah.
Along with the injuries he's had. He's basically got a whole year's worth of wages for sitting around in the medical room.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that was the problem, man. We bought a player that was just a panic buy, like Stephen Colker all over again, you know? So, look, this time around, they've made 2 very good signings. These players are good players that we brought in. They're quality, and they're the right age profile. They've got scope to grow as well. I think 2 good signings, but we have to bring in 1 or 2 more. At least 1 more midfielder needs to come in, and a defender. And if we get that, I think. And there's a lot of talk about us. I mean, listen, there's always a lot of talk linking Liverpool to players, but there's a lot of talk about us with that Federico Chiesa, that Juventus guy.
Yeah, I think you just read too many. Well, we don't need a centre forward. Why would you buy a centre forward? That's rubbish. It's just paper-all clickbait. I don't read that stupidness. I mean, you've got forwards coming out of our ears at the minute.
Yeah, I agree. I'm just saying that he's linked.
Well, no, but you know, it's just if you scroll down enough, you'll see that we're linked with Mbappe as well. It's just stupid.
I like that. Stupid. I saw a picture of him in a Liverpool shirt recently.
Yeah, it's just stupid. We've got let's see tomorrow. We've got friendly tomorrow in Germany.
Yeah.
And then I think next week we can play Leicester
and Bayern Munich.
So let's see how it goes.
Yeah. What, feeling happy so far though with everything, or not?
No, I just think I'd like to see the squad close, business done, disruptions, and all this media coverage around. You know, like for us, big. You know, Fabinho, Henderson, Thiago's in the mooting. If they're going to go, that needs to be sorted out very quickly. I want the squad done and dusted, and the quicker we get that, I think it's also it's an advantage to us. The quicker we get our squad finalised. I mean, everyone seems to buy players in August and on deadline day and blah blah blah. But you've got all this time to do your business. And we started off quickly with McAllister and Szoboszlai, but to get the work done early, and if you have your squad and your team done and good to go, you could be an advantage early in the season against the likes of Chelsea, who are still looking for players, Man City, who will be looking for players because they've lost Mahrez, they've lost Gundogan, they're going to be looking for players. They haven't signed anyone yet. Spurs, Arsenal probably are closed off. Man United probably looking for a centre forward. So, to get your team, your squad settled, know what you're doing, and start the season off correctly, it'll be an advantage to us, I think.
Yeah, let's see.